today's lesson, we'll be looking at determining class features of given data. So, what comes to mind when you hear the term calculating class features of given data? Yes, Ishmael. Yes, as last class we looked at data are a group of given information and you have to arrange them. Right? So what do you think are class features? Have you ever heard the term before? Alright then. So what I want you to do now is to form groups of threes, groups of twos, and I'm going to give you a small task to do. So form your groups quickly and then I'm going to give you the task. Okay students, so you're finished forming your group. So here we have a group of data. This group of data, it says the results of a survey of the income earned per hour in dollars for a sample of 60 families is given below. Alright, so this is the data that is given. What I want you to do is to complete this table below. You already know how to complete a tally frequency table, right? So you're doing it for classes 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, 15 to 19, 20 to 24, and 25 to 29. So you may begin working in your groups. You have like 3 minutes to complete this. Okay, Kirshmo and Philip, what did you guys have for your 0 to 4 tally? 10. Very good. So for your tally, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Frequency is 10. Yes, Isaac and Elizabeth, what did you guys have for your 5 to 9? 3. So 1, 2, 3. Yes, Shania and Romel, what did you guys have for 10 to 14? 2. And Philip and Daniela, what did you guys have for your 15 to 19? 20. And Ian and Jasmine, what did you get for your 24 to 25 category? 16. And Rondell and Tyrese, what did you get for your 25 to 29 categories? 90. Good. So that's how your data should look, right? So the objective for today's lesson is for students to clearly understand the difference of our class features and for you guys to correctly calculate the different class features. Okay students, so we have another table. However, this one is different from the one that you just did. You see we have some more columns have the name of the class interval, the frequency, midpoint, class limit, class boundary, and you can see that the class limit and the class boundary is broken down into two different parts. Right? So what I want you to do based on the data above, and it's the mark awarded to 100 candidates in examinations, are as follows. What I want you to do is to use this data above and complete the frequency table for the following classes. So you're doing 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, 21 to 25, 26 to 30, 31 to 35, 36 to 40, 41 to 45, and 46 to 50. So you're going to put in what you know based on what we just did. So you have approximately like 5 minutes to complete this, so you may begin. Good. So what is your first class interval? Yes, 1 to 5, then 6 to 10, then have 11 to 15. Yes, Jasmine. And then 15 to 20. We have 21 to 25. 26 to 30. 31, 35. 36 to 40, 41 to 45, and 46, 50. Right? This is the way, this is the class that they want us to do it. Right? Next thing, what else did you know to complete off of your own? Yes, the frequency. So, what do you have for 1 to 5? You have 5. Yes, Daniela. We have 8. Yes, Daniel. 11. Okay, students. So this is what you're supposed to have, right? Because you know our class interval, it was given to us, right? And when you count your 1 to 5 category, you're supposed to have 5, followed by 8, 11, 12, 20, 16, 13, 7, 5, and 3. Is there anyone with anything different from this? Very well. What now we need to do, we need to know what is the name of the class, what is the midpoint, what is the class limit, and what is the class boundary. Okay, students, so this is how our completed frequency distribution table should look like. Alright? We know the name of our class, we just list them in order. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. We know our midpoint, right? We have our class limit. We also have our class boundary. For our midpoint, we can either add our class interval or our class boundary, and we will have the same answer. Our class limit is the minimum and maximum value that our class interval can obtain. And then we have our class boundary. This is our marks that separate one class interval from another. And remember, we recognize that the upper class boundary of the previous class is the lower class boundary of the next class, right? Do you understand that? Very well. Shania, how are we going to calculate the lower class boundary of the 11 to 15 class? Yes, we have to subtract 0.5 from 11. 11 minus 0.5 is going to be 11.0 minus 0.5. This becomes 10. Becomes 10 also. 5. And now we find the upper class boundary. We have to, yes, add 0.5 to 15. So it's 15 plus 0.5. 15.0 plus 0.5. Okay, do you notice anything about your lower and upper class boundary? Is there anything that you see occurring there? Yes, Alicia. Very good. Your upper class boundary becomes your lower class boundary of the other class, right? So once you have your upper class boundary, you automatically know what is your next lower class boundary. Do you see what I'm speaking about? So we see we have 5.5 for the upper class boundary here, and yes, right? And then we see we have 10.5 for the upper class boundary and then 10.5 for the lower class boundary of the other class. So what is going to be the lower class boundary for 16 to 20? Yes, Shamar? Yes, it's going to be 15.5 as our lower class boundary, just like we have it here for the upper class boundary of the previous class, right? And what is going to be the upper class boundary of this class? Yes, Isaac? 20.5. Very good. So let us move on to our next formula. We now will be looking at the class midpoint. And the formulas are, we can the lower class limit plus the upper class limit, and since we have to find the middle, we'll divide it by 2. Or you can add your lower boundary limit plus your upper boundary limit and also divide it by 2, and you're going to get your class midpoint. So either one you choose to add and then divide by 2, you will get the same answer. So let's work one. So we'll work the first one. We'll use the class limit first. So it's 1 plus 5 divided by 2. 5 plus 1 is 6 over 2 and over 2. And that is going to equal to if we add our class boundary, we add 0.5 plus 5.5 divided by 2. We're going to have, what are we going to have when we add 0.5 plus 5.5? Yes, we'll have 6 over 2. Very good, Shamar. And 6 into 2. 2 into 6 is 3. So, either of the class boundary or class limit you choose to use, you will get back the same answer. So the midpoint of this class is 3. Let's do 6 and 10. So we'll add 6 plus 10 and we'll have 16 divided by 2. And that is going to equal to 8. Right? That is what we do when we use, this is what we have when we use our class limit. Let's use our class boundary. So it's 5.5 plus 10.5 divided by, we're going to have where we add 5.5 plus 10.5. Yes, shuffle. 16. Very good. 16 over 2, and that is also going to equal to 8. So the midpoint of this class is 8. Right? Let's go to our class width. And the formula to calculate the class width is the upper class boundary minus the lower class boundary. Please note that you don't have to calculate the class width for all of the classes. One class width is going to be the same thing as the rest of class width, right? So you could just choose one for random and everybody else will have the same answer just as you. So I will choose the 16 and 20th class, right? And the formula to calculate the class width is the upper class boundary, which is 20.5 minus 15.5. 20.5 minus 15.5. 5.0 is the same as 5. Right? So the class width is 5. If you choose another class and you subtract your class boundary, you will have the same 5. Right? You understand that? So what I want you to do now is to continue putting in our midpoints and our class limit as well as our class boundary. You can work in pair or you can do it individually. So you may begin. Okay, students, so we have one column that is left out, and this is the name of the class. So we name our classes as the first class, this is the second class, third, but it's going to be the next class, Isaiah, fourth, mouth, fifth, followed by the sixth, then the seventh, then we have the eighth class, the ninth class, and lastly we have the 10th class. Right, so this is just the name of the class, is just the order in which we have our class intervals, right? So this table has 10 classes, okay? Okay, students, so this is how our completed frequency distribution table should look like. Alright, we know the name of our class, we just list them in order for second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10. We know our midpoint, right? We have our class limit. We also have our class boundary. For our midpoint, we can either add our class interval or our class boundary, and we will have the same answer. Our class limit is the minimum and maximum value that our class interval can obtain. And then we have our class boundary. This is our marks that separate one class interval from another. And remember, we recognize that the upper class boundary of the previous class is the lower class boundary of the next class, right? Do you understand that? Very well. Students, go to your textbook, Mathematics, a Complete Course with CSEC Question Volume 1, page 3, A-2, exercise 8J, and you will be doing question 4, question 8, question 12, and question 16. Did you get that, or do you want me to go it over? Yes, you do exercise 8G, question 4, 8, 12, and 16. Alright? Okay, students, for homework, on the same page 382, exercise 8G, you'll be looking at question 2 and question 3. But you will only complete the A part. And then you will draw up a table like this and complete. Do you understand that? Very well. So now we can play our game. So to play our game, you will need to remember our formulas, and we'll be using the very first date that was given to play our game, right? So identify the first class for me, Jasmine. Which one is the first class? Very good. 0 to 4 is the first. Timothy, the second. 5 to 9. Very good. This is the second. Alicia, which is the fourth class? Very good. 15 to 19 is the fourth class. And which is the sixth class? class Bruno. Very good. 29 to 25. This is the 6. Which is the 5th class Dimiano? We have 20 to 24 as our 5th class. And the last class that is remaining, which class is that, Robin? The 3rd class. Very good. So that is our 3rd class. So to play our game, you need to remember the previous table that we had and our formula. Alright? So let's get straight into our game. So this is our game. And for us to actually start the game, when you roll the dice, you have to get a 6. Once you gain a 6, you place your player on the start. Once you roll your dice again and you gain another 6, you will be eligible to pull a card. Once you pull the card, it reads, identify the 5th class interval. You place your card down back here. You now have approximately 1 minute to look on the board and identify your 5th class interval. If you identify your 5th class interval as 4 and you are incorrect, you are automatically knocked out of the game. At the end of the game, the player that obtained the most cards, right? The player that, let's say you pulled and you pulled 2 times, you had 3 and you get the highest. The player with the most cards to the end of the game wins. So the next card was, let's say you get to find the lower class limit of the first. The lower class limit of the first class is, so you have approximately 1 minute, and then you go and you identify your lower class limit of the first class. So you place it there. Right? Do you understand the game? So every time you roll a 6, you gain the opportunity to pull a card. Right? So you may begin. Very well, students. So we are finished playing our game. Let's give Damian a round of applause for gaining the most cards. Very well. Did you enjoy the game? Very good. Now class is dismissed. You may pack away your stuff. Do enjoy the rest of your day.